Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fontaine and I'm the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. In this video, we are going to study what is a soulmate. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I do readings, all sorts of readings, romance, life path, and purpose. You can book it at my website, fontainewellness.com. So, what is a soulmate? Most of you know me as a twin flame reader, as a twin flame guide, as a twin flame life coach. However, I know the question comes up very frequently of what is a soulmate. Now, a soulmate is a type of relationship among what I categorize as 4 different types of relationships that you can happen to encounter on Earth. I'm going to go through them quickly because I have produced other videos delineating the differences between these various types, or at least 3 out of the 4. The 4th one, I just made up the name, but I'm going to introduce the concept because it was taught to me by an Akashic reader when I asked about a certain person in my life back in January or February of 2020. So there are 4 types of relationships that you can encounter on this Earth plane. The first one is a karmic type of relationship. So a karmic type of relationship, you come into each other's lives because you have karma to balance, meaning debt. There's debt that must be repaid on either side or on both sides. Usually these relationships are a little bit challenging. They tend to have really high ups and downs in them, and there tends to be a lot of strife, conflict, and a little bit of basic needs being met and not met. It's a bizarre type of connection, but we have a lot of those. We have a lot of karmic connections because based on our past lives, based on our soul's journey, we have encountered these people before and have created something of karmic debt on both sides. So that's a karmic connection. There may or may not be a soul connection with a karmic connection. So some of these things can be combined. Just hold on tight to that one as I describe the rest so you can kind of see how they all tie in. The second connection, which I do most of my videos on, is called a twin flame connection. And there are one of those. Twin means 2. I assure you, the word twin means 2. Go look it up. And so that means that it's the other half of you. So it's the other half of your soul. Souls can split, incarnate onto this earth into 2 separate bodies, and then you find each other. And that's a whole other story because I've produced over 150, perhaps it's closer to 200 videos now on the twin flame journey. So you only have one, and 99.9% of the time, it's a romantic partnership. Okay, let's go to the next category. The next category is what I call the free agent. Now, the free agent, I'm just making this up as a word, but it was the best word that I could choose to explain to you what a free agent is. A free agent is someone who comes into your life with whom you do not have a soul connection. You're not a soulmate, you're not a twin flame, and you don't have any karma with them. Free agents come into our lives periodically to give us a little break, because with a karmic connection, a twin flame connection, and a soulmate connection, there's a lot of work that's being done on various levels, on various tiers. So when you have karmic people in your life, when you have soulmates in your life, and when you have a twin flame in your life, it can feel like you are constantly working on something or working through something. Free agents come into our lives just to give us that mini break that we need. And they might come in to just help us practice the skills that we've learned up until now. Now, let me tell you how I happened upon this concept of free agent. In February of 2020, I got an Akashic reading. The Akashic records are our soul map, meaning it is all the soul contracts we've agreed to. It is the promises, the vows, the soul contracts with other people. It's our life path and purpose. It's everything. It's everything about our soul's journey in this lifetime and in all lifetimes. And I had an Akashic reader read my Akashic record back in February of 2020. That was actually the first time I had gotten an Akashic reading. And I asked about a certain person that I was just dating casually, and I said, like, what is this person to me in my life? And she basically read it, and she said, like, he's really nothing. Like, he's just a person, and he's a person that's just happens to be in your life, but there's no energy there. What she meant was, there's no karma, there's no soul contract. He's just there. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And she goes, no, but your angels are telling you it's actually okay. It's okay to have people in your life who are not karmic soulmates or your twin flame. Like, that is okay, because it kind of gives you a break, and it allows you just to like receive, to allow the giving and receiving, and maybe, like I said, to practice some skills that you have been learning with karmic people in your life and with soulmates in your life. And of course, with your twin flame, if you have a twin flame. Not everybody does on this incarnation. Free agents are there just to kind of be there for us, and just, they might be short-term and they might be long-term, but they are just there to give us kind of like an energetic break so that we can just enjoy our life on earth a little bit more without having to work so hard. Finally, there is this soulmate relationship, and that's really what we are speaking about here. We're speaking about what is a soulmate. The word soulmate has been around forever. And ever since I was very young, I used to hear the word soulmate. And in the past, when I was a teenager, for example, I always was under the impression that a soulmate was that one special person that you would find in your life on a romantic level, and that person would be the person that you would ultimately marry and live happily ever after with. And over the years, and through my psychic abilities, through angelic messages, and of course through experiencing a twin flame connection, I quickly learned that there is a vast difference between a soulmate relationship and a karmic relationship and a twin flame relationship, and of course a free agent. But soulmates are part of our soul family. So your soul comes into this world and other dimensions and other time periods with a bunch of other souls that incarnate at the same time as you, and they are your soul family. So soulmates are a part of your soul family. And you can have many soulmates. You could have hundreds of soulmates. Now, of course, you might not meet hundreds of soulmates in this lifetime, but you could have literally hundreds of soulmates that are a part of your soul family. A soulmate is designed to help get you properly on your life path. Consider a soulmate to be a guide on earth, an earthly guide that is going to help you course correct. And you have guardian angels all the time that are constantly trying to help you course correct. But of course, angels cannot interfere with your free will. And if you do not want to communicate with your guardian angels and the archangels and other angels of God, if you don't want to communicate with them and ask for their guidance and ask for their help, they can't exactly directly help you. They can guide you in certain ways, like they will send you signs, they will send you synchronicities, they will send you other people to help guide you, and that is what the job of our soul family is designed to do. You have a soul contract with certain members of your soul family. And in that soul contract, you have agreed to help each other get on the proper life path. Soulmates are super duper cool. Anybody can be a soulmate, meaning that it doesn't mean anybody for you, but what it means is that any role can be a soulmate. A soulmate can and does often come as a lover or romantic partner. Soulmates come as friends or often best friends. Soulmates can come as a family member. They can come as a work colleague or a mentor or advisor. Therefore, soulmates can come disguised as many different roles. Now, there are a few things about soulmates that you must know in order to recognize that someone is indeed a soulmate. Soulmates actually recognize each other right away as something really familiar. You might say things to a soulmate when you meet, like, oh my God, I feel like I've met you before. Haven't I met you before? Or you might say like, I can't put my finger on it, but I really feel like I've known you forever. And you constantly say things like that to each other. And it's almost, when you meet, it's almost like you're like, oh, catching up with an old friend. It feels really comfortable. It feels comfortable, and it also feels really comforting to be in a soulmate's presence. Soulmates are birds of a feather. It's almost like they're like the same peas in a pod, and that is where that comfort level comes from. And the reason for that is that A, you have a soul contract together, but B, it's because your souls have journeyed together in different lifetimes. And since your souls have journeyed together in different lifetimes, it just feels familiar because your souls know each other. So when you say like, I feel like I've met you before, or I feel like I've known you forever, or where did I meet you before? That often comes up, like, I just recognize you. I've met you before. And soulmates tend to have ease of conversation. Like I said, the birds of a feather, they just tend to have a lot of things that are in common. They have things that they can talk about right away. And there's this sense of great comfort with a soulmate. Now, as I mentioned, it may or may not be romantic in nature. I have had lots of soulmates in my time since I've been alive, and a few of them have been romantic interests, but I would say a lot more have not been romantic interests. They've come disguised as friends, as mentors, as even work colleagues. So I've had people that have shown up to help correct me on my life path. Now, the really cool thing about a soulmate is that generally most soulmates will tend to accept you for who you really are. And when I talk about course correction or helping you get on your right life path, it's usually through the friendship. It's usually through that relationship that you guys are just so interested in each other that as you are learning more about this person and as they're learning more about you, it's in those moments that the course correction is happening. Let me give you a real example from my life. One of my greatest soulmates that ever came into my life was when between the ages of 17 and 19. I dated a man who was quite a bit older than me. He was 8 years older than me at the time. And we met when I was 17. I was almost 18. It was just on the cusp of being 18. So we met, we became really good friends. And again, there was that sense of familiarity. There was a sense of like, oh my God, like I really know you. I don't know how I know you because I honestly just met you. But it was one of those things where you're with a person and you could just continue to have conversations and like, it feels like 5 minutes have gone by, but like 5 hours has gone by and you're like, where did the time go? Like, this is totally ridiculous. Like time stands still when you're in the face of a soulmate. And so we met, we had like intense conversations. He was heavily into Zen Buddhism, meditation, vegetarianism, which was rare then. It was kind of back in the late 80s, early 90s. So that was really rare. He was into yoga, as I mentioned, meditation, and he taught me all of those things. He had me reading books about Zen Buddhism, Zen philosophy. He had me take my first yoga class with him, which ended up being like the segue to the rest of my life. We used to meditate together. And so it was interesting because I didn't know it at the time, but he was setting me up for my life path. He was absolutely setting me up for my life path, because if I were to fast forward 16 years into the future, what did I become? I became a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher, Ayurvedic lifestyle practitioner. I became a vegetarian when I was 18. So he had a major influence in my life on setting me on my life path. And as I mentioned, I didn't even know it at the time. I was just in love with this guy. I thought he was really cool. I thought he had a lot of knowledge, and we just had really good rapport together. Now, I've had others that came disguised as friends. So I met this one woman in France when I moved there for 3 years. I lived in France twice at 2 different time periods in my life, but I moved there at the end of 2005. I met her in 2006. We became fast friends, and she really guided my way spiritually. And I had been raised Roman Catholic. I was becoming very upset with the Catholic Church. I just didn't like going to church anymore. And she invited me to a non-denominational Christian church, and the rest is history, because I was like, oh my God, I'm like awakened to a whole new thing. And she became a very, very good friend. And again, we were birds of a feather. Like, everything was just seamless with us. So there are many, many different soulmates that can come into your life to course correct and put you on that life path, which is so amazing. Now, let's talk about duration of time. So the weird thing about soulmates, and this is what the weird thing is, some soulmates will come into your life as a life partner, which is cool. A lot of people say they want to be twin flames. I would say you don't want to be a twin flame. If you are not a twin flame, or you don't think you're a twin flame, you do not want to be a twin flame. I will tell you that right now. And I would say that 99% of all twin flames would agree with you. You don't want to be a twin flame. The twin flame journey is extremely hard. But however, being in a soulmate relationship can be very fulfilling. Now, when soulmates come in hardwired as a long-term romantic commitment, oftentimes you have a combination relationship with that soulmate. They're designed to help you get on your right life path, but oftentimes what happens is that romantic partner that is designed for the long term, you will also have karma that you need to balance with them. So often, a long-term soulmate relationship will also be a karmic partner, which can be a little like aggravating and frustrating, but it's also neat because you have that soul connection. And in my previous videos, I've mentioned that I had a soulmate connection that lasted for 5 years, but we also had karma that we were working through, which made it really rough. But then we were just so in love with each other because we had that soul connection. Then you can have a twin flame who is also a soulmate. I know it sounds weird because twin flames are soul connected, but twin flames can also be soulmates. Not all soulmates are twin flames. That's the other thing. Now, the final piece that I want to say about a soulmate is that the weird thing about soulmates, and you might have noticed this in your life, because soulmates come into your life to do a quick course correction, meaning, and you do this for them too, just know that. You come into certain people's lives as a soulmate to help them course correct too. But all of this is done unconsciously. It's not like it's a mindful thing. It's not as if you're awakened, you're like, oh, there's my soulmate, I have this agenda and I'm gonna course correct them. No, this all happens subconsciously. It's kind of as if your guardian angels and your soulmate's guardian angels are using you as a tool through which they can channel that energy to get that person on the right life path, and vice versa. So it's almost like you're coming here on earth to help that other person that's in your soul family, and you do it through like love, kindness, and just being like-minded souls, really. And that's really what helps them to course correct. Now, the timing is weird because I'm sure you've experienced that sometimes you will meet a soulmate that comes into your life for a really short period of time. I have met soulmates that were in my life for literally like 24 to 48 hours. It's those people that you just feel like you're birds of a feather. I can't even think of another term for it, but you just feel really in sync with this person, and you just talk forever. You share your entire life stories with one another, and things are so good. And then all of a sudden you part ways and you never see that person again. The reason for that is because in your soul contract with that particular soulmate, that was all that was needed to be done. So that is the weirdest thing about soulmates, is that oftentimes they will come into your life for a really short duration of time, or just a really abbreviated period of time, and then they just disappear. And it's almost like, that was really weird. Like, why did I have such an amazing, amazing, amazing connection with this person? And we were just like so incredibly in sync. And then all of a sudden it's just like, poof, the relationship is gone. And all that means is that you actually fulfilled that soul contract with that person, and they fulfilled their soul contract with you. And so there was no reason for you guys to journey together in this lifetime again. Now, it can be frustrating because often karmic people that come into our lives last a lot longer. And it's almost as if you're like, why can't I get rid of those people? Like, why can't I get rid of those people? Why can't I just have more soulmates? Let's talk about soulmates in romance. Let me tell you this. You can ask your guardian angels if it's timing for you. It has to be good timing. But if it's time for you to find a romantic partner, you can certainly ask your guardian angels to send you a soulmate from your soul family to come in to have a romantic relationship with you. That is perfectly acceptable. It is acceptable. It is not outside of the norm, and they will do it for you if you're ready. If you're with a partner, for example, that you still have a lot of karma to sort out, then that's not going to happen right away. It might happen after that relationship, but it won't happen right away. But if you're single and you're just really needing to be in a romantic partnership and you just want something really nice, you can ask your guardian angels to send you a soulmate from your soul family, or you could just say, send me someone from my soul family. I really want to be in a really uplifting and great relationship. They will send you someone because, as I mentioned, there are hundreds of people who are inside the circle of your soul family. So they have their pick of people to send you, and they will. It is incredible. This has happened to me where I was just like, okay, I'm tired of dating guys that are just not so nice, or they're just not an energetic match. Angels, could you please just send me someone from my soul family? Like, it would be really nice if you guys did that. And then I just kept an open mind. I kept an open mind, and I was going out, and I was on some dating apps, but I was going out, and then they sent me someone from my soul family, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, because it was that same recognition where you're almost like, wow, like, I really recognize this person and I like this person. We have really good conversation and things just are flowing back and forth in the same way. So it is super duper nice. So I hope this gives you some clarity on what is a soulmate, because I know sometimes there's a lot of confusion when it comes to various relationships. And in particular, if you were in a soulmate relationship and that relationship ended, I know it can be devastating because you're thinking like, oh my God, that person was my soulmate. But just know that you have many soulmates, so that even if you really wanted in a romantic partnership to have a soulmate, that you can always have another soulmate in a romantic partnership. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with others, and thank you so much for supporting this YouTube channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. You can also pledge your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin, and I will see you in the next video.